just you can paint a little bit more bright color, which is I think nearly white, I think. And at that time it is pretty strong difference between the basic gray and now I'm brewing the very bright gray color, which is pretty fine, because after washing or after doing some other weathering techniques, it will be more effective, and sometimes it's not so strong at all after I just completely done. So at that time, at least I just brewed a little bit to hiding black shadows a little bit. Or if you see the unpainted part, you can brew that. Anyway, this is pretty big one, so it might need to take a time. After I doing this, maybe I just sand it a little bit to flat the surface, prepare to the washing. But before I wash, I just do the masking zone effect, and I think I will do the salt masking effect and washing and some putting a panel line to the black enamel. So always thinking of the next schedule to doing this. Okay, I think almost of the second basic paint has already almost done, and a little bit unnatural to see is fine. I mean, in this time it's not you don't have to be complete finish, just a little bit strong laughing, very, it's not a completely, but you can at least see the white or black or some sort of thing you can see. And if you are doing very well in this process, as I tell you, I think after paint, after effect will disappear, the whole thing. So a little bit, and also you can touch up after if you don't want to. So at this time I should just remain a little bit roughly. It's pretty fine. But however, if you finish this kind of things, like, and after you wash and like that, you should paint a little bit more, right? If you finish like this. But if I do a lot of things after that, so this time I just finish to like that surface. But I think the lighting condition of the camera, which you cannot see so very well, but it's actually pretty rough finish. It's pretty about not accurate, but in this time it's just fine. This kind of the rough finish will be a good result after I doing the many things. So it's just keep it up to move to the next paint. Okay. Right. The next step is the I think the part of the weathering paint. Before paint, as you can see, a little bit hard to see that, but I can see that very interesting weathering on the aircraft. So I just try to create to paint in this kind of weathering. So the first step is I need to put the masking door on it, and before you doing this, I think you should better to brew a little bit bright color before doing with the this is masking door, but I think in this time it's just pretty fine. So trying to make a very tiny line as much as possible, which is pretty annoying work, so I need to very concentrate on it. And of course you can sing with the masking tool with the I think acrylic thinner is fine, but I can say that if you thin the masking tool, it is very easy to paint, but it's very hard to tip off because the masking tool will be very thin, and once it's into the mold, it's very hard to scribe the masking tool. So in my case, I don't use the thinner to masking tool anyway. And according to, you can just check on the real picture if you want. Just like, you know, you can just copy from that. It's like brewing some touch-up effect. So which part you know, should I do that or not? You can just easily check from the real picture, which is pretty fine. I can just pretend to be real maintenance crew. Like, try to, like, oh, okay, I just brew that, I just brew that touch up or whatever. So it's just, I think roughly it's fine in that time, but if you are making with the very tiny line on the you should make very tiny line if you doing the panel lines. Just it's a kind of very you should need a little bit techniques on it, but at least if you don't like it after effect, put in effect, you can just brew and cover, and you can easily touch up. So just try to make more real touch up effect. It's pretty hard to say, but like that. So it's according to the season to get dry enough of the masking tool, but this time it's pretty hot summer, so it doesn't have so much time to wait. I think this is fine of the area should. Okay. The another wing is also the same things. If you put really bit plenty, it's very easy to take off. But if you put the very thin, it's very hard to get off. So so you need just practice. This is 1/32, so it is not so difficult, but if you're doing this the 1/48 or much more small scale, you need to put a more tiny line, so I think which is very hard if I compare with the 1/32 scale. So, and the main wing, you don't have to put the whole molding, or you don't have to paint so all, but at least you can check the later, and if you think it doesn't not too much, you can just add in some I think it's all up to the real picture, so it's always think about the real images of the wing, or fuselage, whatsoever. So to imagine how they drew the touch-up. So I think the most important thing that is try to the line which is more round, right? Because they use their, I think it's kind of airbrush, so spray or whatever. So the line should be very rounded, right? Not strict corner like that. So just try to make the figure like spray on it, just like that. It's not so difficult, but if you really mention about that, effect will be more nice. I think this is a kind of experience, so like that. Okay. I think this is the most particular touch-up effect surface I ever seen. So try to make sure that if I compare with the real pictures, it should be something like that, right? You do the whole area almost. So I think in this section is a little bit thick line is pretty fine, because if I see the real ones, it's pretty large, I mean wide touch up, so it's just following by the panel lines. But anyways, take a time to do the whole thing, so just take a rest and do that again, take a rest, do it again. This is modeling, it's sometimes, always something like that. So it's pretty exhausting work, so it's not that difficult, but it's pretty much to do this, especially the novel aircraft. So if you are doing very well, the effect will be very nice, I think. Okay, the result is something like this. And after it get dry completely, I just brew that. I think I should use the small gray, which is this, and I may choose to mix with the flat coat with the small gray, because the small gray is pretty glossy surface, so paint, so I might mix with the flat clear, and I just put with a little bit of the, I think, orange, as usual, because the smoke gray is a little bit very strong dark color, so I just put into the orange. But however, in this time, if I compare with the this one, it's pretty, I think it's pretty dark, and it's quite hard weathering, so maybe I just doing with the smoke gray with the flat clear is fine. Or maybe you can use the little bit dark color, I mean, which is, I think, but I shouldn't recommend that, but you can use otherwise number 13, which is more dark, or 3 or 5 or whatever. You can just brew the very tiny line according to the masking zone, a black line, so it's really up to you. And it's just because I think I put a little bit more effect on it, so I should just put a little bit strong effect at this time. And after finish this, I just go into the salt effect point to point. So after doing many things, this kind of strong effect will be not disappear, but not obvious. So just to try to think that always the free result is very important. So the process is very some always a little bit over how do I say, you don't have to be finished very completely in every time till you finish all of this. So it's especially for weathering aircraft, which you want to express. So I think I just try to make a little bit strong every time, but always need a test by test. So just keep in touch with me. Okay, so I just brew the small gray with the rat clear and try to following by the masking zone. I think I put some thinner a little bit more. Very thin is fine. I mean, you shouldn't put so much small gray on it, because this is very strong effect. So just a little bit is okay. Right, because this is very dark, because I didn't put the orange, so clear orange, so it's very hard to see, but actually it works. So it doesn't matter whether it's drew so well or not. It actually I can see a little bit. after I take off the masking though, the result is very obvious. So at that time I just blew the very thin, not too dark. But if you drew that so dark, which is fine because you can just erase using by a little bit bright gray. So at least you can just following by the masking zone, it's fine. That is very important. And the difference is very hard to see, right? But actually it's fine. Then you take another one. Trying to follow the masking zone, and at least it will a little bit dark. It's really up to you. If you want a very strict, very strong effect, you can just do more, but I think at least I just blew a little bit. This is pretty fine. Okay. Just you can take it off if you want, because before you paint the main sugar rush, whether your color will be good or not. So now just test look. If it's not so dark effect, I can just blow one more time. I think I should blow a little bit more. I think there's nothing changed, as you can see. So sensitive, right? So at that time I just blew a little bit more. Because I just mixed in with the very much flat clear, so the color will much more thin, I think. So I just put the color a little bit more and try to understand the sense that how much do I need to glue. There's always this. I think this is pretty fine. I think. So the surface is pretty sensitive, so I just using by a very accurate pincet or some other things. But however, you can just once you pull in a little bit, put some and using tapes and stick on it. If the masking zone is much enough, the things that masking zone will take it off so easily, but sometimes you have to, because this is pretty fresh. If the zone get very dry, it's more easily to take off. So I think it's much pretty better than before. And this is very careful point. I think the pincet is pretty sharp, so you shouldn't touch the surface of the model. So it's very easy to scratch the surface. So it's pretty sensitive movement. So well, I think it's pretty. Seems to be okay. This is not handiwork, so because you have to, put the masking door and waiting so many times, putting very annoying work. So sometimes it's not gonna be a successful result always. So it's just see the result. At least you can see a little bit difference of the surface of the wing. At that time, this is a little bit strong, expressions. But after you paint or you wash the main, part, the expression will be more soft. I think turn to more natural. So you don't have to be worried about so much at this time. A little bit strong is fine. I'm just trying to pop it off, and then using tape. Using tapes and try to take it off, which is once you clean off, it's very easy to take it off, so you don't have to worry about that. But the problem is the how it's very tend to how much you glue it. Small gray, right? If you put so many gray, the effect is so strong. So I think the balance is very important. And if you don't satisfy that, you can try that again to put the masking though again. And this is not only one time. You can do after after you doing many things. You can try that again. This is just only one time. So. Okay. A little bit dark. If you don't like the figure of the masking though, you don't have to be blue all the time. You just avoid it. That's fine. Because the control of putting the masking door is a little bit difficult. So if you don't like it, you don't have to glue all the time. Just case by case. A little bit strong, but not too much. A little bit strong, but not too much. That's fine. Well. pretty alright at this time. Just take it off easily, because I put the masking oil quite plenty of in amount, so this is pretty easy to take it off. And if not, you can use the tape to stick on it. But sometimes it's very hard to take off, but this is simply make very the great care with the surface to touch with the pinset. So okay, this is pretty easy. So after I doing this, I just plan to put I think the salt effect is fine. Maybe I will do the salt effect after that. And after salt effect, I just put some little gray color again, maybe, and turn to the washing process. So see you then next. Bye.